Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new vid of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out a brand new vid from Connie X about giving Marvel characters from Phase 4 Digimon partners. So we're going to get stuff like Moon Knight, I guess. Let's hop in and see just who gets who.
Aside from anime, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is my most requested franchise to give Digimon partners to. And that pantheon is huge, and honestly I'm a little bit worried that we're jumping the shark here on these videos, but it's all just for fun, isn't it? So, with Moon Knight's finale airing today and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming out in a day or two, let's give MCU Phase 4 characters Digimon partners.
Here we go. Click.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and so many of you requested this. I'm still not sure if I'm actually doing it. Pinch me, is it real? Am I in an Egyptian parallel reality inside my own mind? I also don't normally do giving partner videos back to back, but Marvel has kind of tied my hands this week. Initially I just wanted to give Digimon partners to our two big players, Doctor Strange and Moon Knight, and maybe their cast. But as Thor Love and Thunder recently got a trailer, it got me to thinking about the greater Phase 4. I'm specifically choosing these partners to be for the MCU storyline, so while the comics might help us, they aren't going to be deciding factors. This is also why for today I'm not giving partners to Jennifer Walters, the next Black Panther, or Kamala Khan, because we just don't know enough about them in the MCU right now to do any really good picks. I could give She-Hulk Ogremon if you wanted, I guess. But we can begin with my all-time favourite superhero, Spider-Man. And the MCU Peter Parker is so different to comics Peter, I ended up asking some of my channel supporters, Dresden Nova and Andrew Sobel, and I think we got to a really good place with it. I'm giving this MCU Peter the rookie Kokuamon. I think the little metal bug, not a spider, I know, works nicely for Peter, especially given many versions of Spider-Man have electric webbing. Then to Searchmon, this being another bug encased in metal, but also bearing the crest of knowledge as a Digi-Egg of Knowledge armor evolution. This of course displays the MCU Peter's great intellect, but Kokuamon and Searchmon combined referenced how for the first two movies, Peter is essentially an Iron Man shadow. I know some people hate this, some people love this, but it's nonetheless a factor of MCU Peter, and I know bugs aren't arachnids, but there are so few arachnid Digimon, and we'll get to them in a little bit. So these bug Digimon act as our kind of stand-ins for the Iron Man and indeed Iron Spider suits. But then we can see that reliance on Stark tech be phased out as Peter's Searchmon will become Climbmon. This of course referencing Spider-Man, well, climbing walls, before finally becoming Shivamon to end out this bug line. With the electricity of them all, echoing, as I said, electrified webbing, but also the kind of electricity theme of the Peter Tingle or Spider Sense. Now I know what you're saying, where are all the spiders? And I absolutely agree with you. The main thing that's a shame about most spider Digimon is they tend to be quite evil in appearance and demeanor. As such, if we're going for more general comic Spider-Man reference, we could also give Peter Kodokugamon, which was my original pick for MCU Peter, but I definitely saw how Dresden and Andrew thought that Kokuamon would work, so I went with them. Kodokugamon does lack those Iron Man references.
First off, this is an adorable Digimon. It may be a spider, but this is a fur baby. I would pet and care for that. That thing is adorable.
But then, of course, would become Dokugamon, and then to Arukenimon, which would also be a nice reference to Madam Web and the whole Spider-Verse situation, before finally becoming either Parasimon or, and I like this one, Dundevimon, who is quite spider-like in its composure, but also was designed to resemble the comic characters Spawn and Venom. So you could maybe take this dark and more evil-looking spider line, ending in Dundevimon as a reference to the symbiote suit? I don't know. Nothing like starting a video with a difficult one, huh? A sticky spider's web of picks. Anyway, sweet children of mine, it's time for the God of Thunder, Thor Odin's son. I'm giving specifically Thor Odin's son a partner right now because, again, our details on Jane Foster as Mighty Thor are loose. I think I might follow this video up once Love and Thunder is out and give her a full line based on her appearances, personality, and jobs in Thor, Thor 2, and Thor Love and Thunder. Anyway, Thor's rookie is going to be Elekmon, because it's Elekmon, electricity monster. Any more questions? The champion is then tough. I'm trying to find as many references to Norse mythology as possible, and Blitzmon was the champion I settled on because some of its signature attacks are called Thor Hammer, Mjolnir Thunder, and Jumping Thor Hammer. That's kind of primarily why I picked Blitzmon, but Digimon survived.
Need to pause for a moment. I'm back.
getting a release date, and the Digimon Frontier Dims basically kicked 2 videos from the April schedule, which was supposed to be Frontier Month. So Frontier Month is bleeding into May and possibly June. And to apologize for that, I'm going to try and use some Frontier pics when I can. But I do also like Thunderballmon as a more comedic looking Digimon to reference the tone of the Taika Waititi Thor movies, but could also be a Bat Thor reference, I guess. From there, I'm picking Zudamon as its ultimate. This does not have visual cohesion from Blitzmon, but does have design and influence connection, as Zudamon wields his very own hammer made of chrome Digizoid, which could definitely be seen as a digital world equivalent to the Uru that forged Mjolnir. And Zudamon has attacks called Thor Hammer and Thor Fury. If you would prefer more of a visual through line and less of a like V-Pet, Digimon can digivolve into anything kind of vibe, I do think Raiji Ludamon works pretty well from Blitzmon and keeps up the thunder vibes. And finally, for the Mega, we just have far too many options. Vikemon, of course, is a very natural Zudamon evolution. It literally wields a Morningstar called Mjolnir and is a berserker, its whole Viking theme tying in heavily to the Norse culture and Viking history. However, a couple of other contenders I really like are Kentaurusmon, which is known as Sleepmon in Japan, its name coming from Sleipnir, Odin's 8-legged steed in Norse mythology, which is good for Thor, but we could also save it maybe for the future and give it to specifically Odin himself. And my third choice would have been Jupitermon, of course, as Jupiter and Zeus are the Roman and Greek equivalents of each other, respectively, and in turn are both essentially the equivalents of Thor, at least all being gods of thunder. I think Jupitermon would be a better pick if we knew whether or not Thor and Jane are actually back together, or I guess in love in Thor Love and Thunder. You'd think the title would give it away that they are back in love in that movie, but I don't know if I actually believe that. I think it might be a bit of a kind of red herring, and that the love in the movie is going to refer to different kinds of love. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But if that did turn out to be the case, Thor having Jupitermon and Jane, aka Mighty Thor, having Junomon would make sense, as Junomon and Jupitermon are basically a lovey couple in the Olympus 12. But I'm giving Thor Vikemon for now. We even see some icy scenarios in that Love and Thunder trailer anyway. Oh, what's it? You want a partner for Korg? Yeah, I can do that, no problem. My name is Korg. I'm sort of the leader around here. Korg will have Gotsumon to Icemon to Meteormon to Bancho Golemon. I just think it would be super funny and on brand if Korg had these nearly identical Gotsumon evolutions. And then the last one was just this massively overpowered rock titan Bancho Golemon. I just think that would be really, really funny. We also know Gore the God Butcher is a villain in this movie, but again, do not know how the movie Gore is going to shake out in comparison to its comic counterpart. So tentatively, I have given him Arcadimon as a somewhat visual reference to Gore, plus Arcadimon's whole world-ending thing, to Duskmon, which is of course some more Frontier love, but also has a ton of visual similarities to both All Black the Necrosword and its original wielder before Gore, Null. Then Duskmon will become Infamon. It's got a creepy white face like Gore, kind of all I got, but it does lead us visually nicely into the Mega Nidhoggmon. Nidhoggmon gets its name from Nidhogg, who is a snake that gnaws at the bottom of the world tree in Norse mythology, so feels like a pretty nice pick for Gore. Shout out to my friend Lambo also, who suggested Titamon and Diaboromon. Diaboromon being a good Infamon evolution that does feel suitably evil, but Titamon in particular would be fun if I did pick Jupitermon for Thor, as Titamon seeks revenge against all the Olympus 12, wanting their heads, which I guess makes it a God Butcher.
Yeah. I should actually go with that. I mean, it's for the God Butcher, and it's a God Butcher, so...
But enough of Norse mythology, let's slide on over to Egyptian mythology with our man of the hour, and Marvel's latest, albeit just finished, I'm recording this obviously before the Moon Knight finale goes out, hero, Moon Knight! I swear I'm not doing these videos just to use the Olympus 12, I promise you, but, like, Moon Knight has to have the Lunamon line, right? Like, I didn't plan this, I just wanted to do MCU partners for a laugh because all of you keep asking for it, and, well, Moon Knight, Lunamon, my hands have been tired, man. Fine. Like, literally the only other choice we have is Moon Millenniummon? Lunamon to Lekismon to Cressamon, of course, work nicely, but then Dianamon actually works even more amazingly because of this card from Hyper Colosseum that has the quote, "It passes the judgment of moonlight under absolute zero," which is like literally exactly what Khonshu is making Mark Spector do in this series. As a side note, I do actually like Vulturemon for Mark, given the visual look of Khonshu and Mark's mercenary past, but I think to make the blow of using the Lunamon line yet again slightly less annoying, I think it would be fun if Steve Steven's Lunamon digivolved differently, perhaps to Nefertimon, this armor Digimon acting as a champion to reference how the Steven personality has a much greater knowledge of Egyptian mythos compared to Mark. Nefertimon could then become Mummymon, again to reference Egypt, but also Mummimon's ability to change between a human and a Digimon form, combined with his white bandages, are a great match to Mark, Steven, possibly Jake. I'm like 99% certain Jake's in that finale, but it's not out yet. And indeed Moon Knight and Mr. Knight. And then finally Mummymon can become Pharaohmon, just to cap off our Egypt references. And also because of the sarcophaguses that we see in Mark's Mind Palace / Afterlife. As for the villain of the piece, the eager vassal of Amit and former vassal of Khonshu, Arthur Harrow, honestly, it's tough. Ultimately, I've decided to give him the rookie Gaussmon solely to act as a good transition to Decadramon, this being one of few crocodile-looking Digimon besides Leviamon, the crocodile imagery obviously being tied to Amit, which will then do that V-Petty Digivolution I talked about earlier to become Bastemon. Obviously another Egyptian reference to Bast or Bastet, but also about as close to a visual reference to Amit that we'll get out of a Digimon. If you took like the bottom half of Bastemon and the head of Decadramon, it would almost look like Amit. Kinda.
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
But Bastemon also acts brilliantly as a pre-evolution to Anubismon, our final Egyptian Digimon of this video, and like the god Anubis, it has the head of a jackal, and Arthur uses Amit's power to summon ethereal jackals to attack Mark and Steven. And finally, my Doctor Strange picks. I'm going to be giving partners to our two seemingly opposed magic users, Stephen Strange and Wanda Maximoff. I did consider Wong, Christine Palmer, and America Chavez, but again, I think we can save them for when we see more of them in Doctor Strange 2, and because frankly I don't want to do another 25-30 minute video this week. So Doctor Strange, I'm going to buck my current trend of giving magic users Rurimon and give him Agumon Expert. This I think acting is more of a reference to Steven's pre-sorcerer days as a doctor. Agumon Expert is definitely more of a professor than a doctor, but it's close enough I think to be a fun matchup. It means I'm not using Rurimon again. His Agumon Expert will then become Wizardmon, a pretty obvious match here. The MCU is full of jokes about Doctor Strange being a wizard, but also Wizardmon is one of a group of Digimon from a parallel world to the digital world called Witchelny, which I actually did a video about in October. You can click this card as always to go check it out. So Wizardmon acts as a nice nod to the upcoming Multiverse of Madness. It will then become Wisemon, which would act as a reference to Steven's time in and the general concept of the Kamatage library, as well as the fact that Wisemon is literally holding objects referred to as space time stones in its hands, which, space time stones. I wonder where we've heard of those in the MCU, specifically tied to Doctor Strange. I also considered Mistymon here, as it is more of a warrior and also hails from Witchelny, which for some reason Wisemon does not appear to, but if we do settle on Wisemon for all its great reasons, that creates a fantastic transition to our final frontier reference, Ancient Wisemon. The ancient part of its name obviously acting as our reference to the Ancient One, and maybe its mirrors acting as a reference to her shiny bald head.
My eyes. There it is.
Am I leaving that in?
We got an ad. We're back.
We'll find out. But some parts of Ancient Wisemon's reference book are very interesting, including saying its mirror body connects to the spirit world, another universe, which again throws in multiversal concepts, but also the reference book states Ancient Wisemon's abilities were later passed on to the mutant Digimon. Mutants, huh? I wonder how they're going to factor into the multiverse of madness.
Wait,
and finally, our seeming antagonist of Doctor Strange 2 and star of WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch herself, Wanda Maximoff. Because I'm evil, I'm giving her the twin set of Digimon Petite Mammon, to reference the little twin baby she created in her false reality. Tommy and Billy definitely aren't going to become Wiccan and Speed, you guys. Her Petite Mammon will then become Witchmon, another Digimon from Witchelny, and of course is a red or scarlet witch. Can you put those pieces together at home? Then Wanda's Witchmon will give a little nod of the hat to MCU theorists and Eric Voss by becoming Mephistomon. Obviously people were hyping up Mephisto for WandaVision and it never happened. It definitely could happen in the future of the MCU. But Mephisto is such a big part of Wanda's story, specifically to do with her twins in the comics, that I think it makes sense regardless. Also showing off Wanda's descent into darkness with its moves like Black Sabbath. And finally, Wanda's Mephistomon will become the less well-known Digimon, Parallelmon. This is a Digimon in the V-Tamer manga, which acts as a sort of MacGuffin to get characters like Davis from Adventure 02 or Taichi from Digimon Adventure 2020 into the world of Digimon V-Tamer, which then has to be defeated. I think visually it works great to digivolve from Mephistomon, but of course this reality-bending, multiverse, mushing Digimon acts as a great parallel nice to Wanda, creating both the Hex reality of Westview and whatever crazy multiverse shenanigans she and her many other selves will be getting into in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And those are my picks for some MCU Phase 4 characters, Digimon partners. I'm still really worried this is jumping the shark, but if you enjoyed it, let me know down below, and if you want more MCU, DCEU, whatever it may be, Digimon partners, I love making these videos. So let me know in the comments down below what you would pick for other Marvel characters, or what you would do differently with the picks I chose. Thank you to my Sovereign ZDK14, as well as all the other names you can see on screen right now for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money. And if you want to support this channel, but you don't want to commit to a monthly thing, you can actually now use super thanks on my videos, which is like a one-off tip to say, hey, thanks, I enjoyed this video. If you want to do that, we can get more equipment, do silly stuff. It's up to you. There's also a video below me which YouTube thinks is best suited for you to check out, so you're probably going to enjoy it. Go check that out, and I will see you next time.
That video. I got my own reaction of it set up for other people to watch. And with that, that's all we're going to leave off today's video. So, I want y'all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support Con and everything he does, and I'll see all of you folks in the next video. Have a good one.